I know that this may be a hot potato, but have you been in the hot seat recently? Or perhaps you have been hot under the collar because some hothead got you all hot and bothered. Trust me, I'm not full of hot air when I say this. Let's discuss.
Welcome to another Happy English podcast coming to you from New York City. And here's your English teacher, Michael.
All right, thank you, John, and thanks, everyone. It's Michael here from Happy English, and I help people speak English better. And this is Happy English Podcast, episode 729, Hot Idioms. I love helping you learn idioms because they make your English conversation sound much more natural and interesting. For today's English lesson, we're going to look at 6 idioms that contain the word hot.
Now, listen to a conversation between 2 coworkers about a new policy in the office. Try to pay attention to the hot idioms they are using.
What are you so hot under the collar about?
I know this is kind of a hot potato, but the new dress code policy, it's so annoying.
Oh, that. Don't worry about it. The boss is usually full of hot air when he says things like that.
So, we're not going to be in the hot seat if we don't wear suits?
Of course not. Any changes like that need to get the okay of the CEO, and that's not going to happen. So don't get all hot and bothered about what the boss says.
You're right. He's just a hothead sometimes.
Boy, am I glad I don't work in that office. All right, let's tackle these idioms. A person who is hot under the collar is angry. We usually say that someone is or gets hot under the collar. Jack's wife was hot under the collar when he came home drunk at midnight last night. Be careful, the boss is going to get hot under the collar if you come to work late again. A hot potato. Imagine that someone takes a potato out of the oven and then starts passing it around the room. Nobody wants to hold the potato or can hold the potato because it's too hot, so they pass it on to the next person to try to get rid of it. It's a hot potato. In conversation, a hot potato is a sensitive or controversial issue or topic that many people try to avoid talking about. Politicians often avoid answering direct questions because many of the topics are a hot potato. I don't want to talk to the boss about a raise because money is a hot potato these days. When somebody says something that is nonsense, or if you think that what they said is not true, you can say that they are full of hot air. My friend Tommy told me that he met a couple of movie stars when he was in Hollywood, but I think he is just full of hot air. I called the company several times to ask about a refund, but they kept giving me a lot of excuses. I wonder why they are full of hot air. Sitting in a very hot seat would be uncomfortable. In a similar way, when someone is facing strong criticism, that's also an uncomfortable situation to be in. So, in this situation, we can say that the person is in the hot seat. The accounting manager was in the hot seat when the company president found out that there was money missing from the company bank account. The former president is in the hot seat because his taxes are being investigated. In a similar way, we say that someone is in hot water, which means they are in a lot of trouble. When you mention who you are in trouble with, use in hot water with. I was in hot water when I lost my passport while traveling overseas. If Jack comes late to the office once more, he's going to be in hot water with the boss. A person who is hot and bothered is annoyed or upset about something. We often use to be hot and bothered about something. The trains in this town are usually late, so it doesn't make sense to get hot and bothered about it. Jack was hot and bothered this morning because someone had parked in his reserved parking space. A person who is a hothead has a bad temper or a short temper. In other words, they easily get angry or upset. We usually say that someone is a hothead. The new boss is very nice. She's not a hothead like the old boss was. Kim's boyfriend is such a hothead. Next time, let's not invite him to a party. Keep in mind, the best way to remember this and any other word or phrase in English is to take that word or phrase, write it in a sentence that's true for you or true in your world, and then memorize your sentences. By the way, can you imagine getting the chance to practice this kind of English with me directly? You can get more practice using your English when you join my Podcast Learners Study Group. There, you can make new friends. Join us for live group lessons every week where we practice these podcast lessons together. Plus, you get access to the PDF transcript and audio download for every Happy English podcast in the past and in the future. And on top of that, each episode has exercises where you can practice this English point with speaking and writing checked by me. To learn more, just visit myhappyenglish.com and choose podcast lesson 729. Remember, learning another language is not easy, but it's not impossible, and I'm here to help you on your journey.
This podcast was brought to you by Happy English. Please visit myhappyenglish.com. Show your support for Happy English by leaving us a review. Get English, get happy, Happy English.